Foster Johnson was born in Columbus, Ohio, performing in his first minstrel show at the age of 8. Johnson left home at 15 to go on the road with the Benny Moten Orchestra in 1935. Later, he would dance with the bands of Basie, Ellington, Lunsford, Armstrong, Hampton, Krupa, Ray Charles, Tommy Dorsey, and Sophie Tucker. Ellington coined the word tapsamatismology in Johnson's honor. One of his ballroom partners was actress Nichelle Nichols of Star Trek fame, to whom he was briefly married. Moving to Los Angeles in the mid-1940s, Johnson managed the Finale Club, a downtown jazz spot where he booked jazz musicians such as Charlie Bird Parker with the idea of fusing the free-form bebop jazz style with his tap rhythms. On the legitimate stage, Johnson appeared in 1948 with Ann Jeffries and Keith Andes in Kiss Me Kate, followed by a national tour of Hell's a Poppin'. Along with television appearances in the Sid Caesar, Milton Berle, Steve Allen, Merv Griffin, and Ed Sullivan shows, he performed in Evolution of the Blues at the Westwood Playhouse in 1979 and toured with 1,000 Years of Jazz. Between it all, Johnson produced and performed in local shows as a singer, composer, comic, and piano player. He later became publisher-editor of the Las Vegas American. Johnson was unlike the rhythm tappers of his generation. He didn't stay in one small area with his head down, concentrating on his footwork. Johnson tried to make it all look easy. He glided across the stage, tapping effortlessly with a winning smile. The movement flowed like oil on water, and his taps were resonant and even, with strong punctuations at the end of a phrase. His art was deceptive. The complexity of the rhythms and the way he worked off the music were things few in his audience comprehended. Foster used the stage space like dancers of other forms, with a sweep and gliding elegance. He had a background in ballroom dance, which was unusual for tappers. Foster performed and taught throughout his 64 years. Through constant effort, he insisted on revitalizing the steps popularized in the movies of the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Later, Johnson devoted more time to his teaching private students in Los Angeles of all ages and skill levels, plus brief residencies at Orange Coast College, Cal State Long Beach, UC Riverside, USC, and Santa Ana College. In 1978, Johnson danced in the Jon Hendricks production Evolution of the Blues, and 28 years later, Hendricks is unequivocal in his assessment. "I never saw a man as refined as Foster." Duke Ellington remarked, "I could talk with Foster about Shakespeare, Shelley, and Byron. He was so elegant, and his dancing reflected that. It just flowed." I'm supposed to be the poet laureate of jazz, but when it comes to Foster Johnson, there aren't enough words about him. He was so rich in his gifts. It was his profound misfortune not to have been filmed during his prime years of 1940 to 55. What remains are a few videotapes from the personal archives that follow.
Now remember, in order for Foster to establish a new record, he'll have to do more than 700 taps in 60 seconds, or an average of more than 11 taps a second. Anytime you're ready, Foster, the Guinness stage is yours, and good luck to you, sir.
All right, we're going to start off with a double riff and a cramp roll, which is the first one, and here we go. Here's number 2, double cramp roll on both feet. Three, paddle roll on both feet. twice and stop. 5 double pull-ups. That's the one I like. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Here comes the last one. Riffs and roll circles. Hey, that's fantastic. Terrific. Congratulations.